Inner Excellence by Jim Murphy. Introduction: The Blueprint to Your Best Life. Have you ever felt like you're capable of so much more, but something invisible is holding you back? Or perhaps you've achieved success, but it feels hollow, like you're chasing a horizon that keeps moving. What if I told you that the key to unlocking extraordinary performance and the deepest, most fulfilling life isn't about adding more to your plate, but about transforming your inner world? Interesting, isn't it? Welcome to this audiobook summary of Inner Excellence by Jim Murphy. Together, we're about to embark on a journey, not unlike an explorer charting a new territory, the vast, powerful landscape of your own mind and heart. We'll delve into how to train your mind, not just for fleeting achievements, but for sustained, extraordinary performance, and more importantly, for living the best possible life you can imagine. You'll discover how to dismantle the inner obstacles that breed fear and self-doubt, and how to cultivate a mindset rooted in love, wisdom, and courage. Ready to find out how? First, let's talk about the guide on this journey, Jim Murphy. Jim isn't just an author. He's someone who has lived the pursuit of excellence from multiple angles. He started as a professional baseball player in the Chicago Cubs organization. Imagine the pressure, the dreams, the roller coaster of emotions tied to every game. But his journey didn't stop on the field. He earned a master's degree in coaching science, researching what makes championship teams tick, interviewing scores of Major League Baseball managers and coaches. Then, in a pivotal move, he went into the Sonoran Desert, seeking solitude and purpose, dedicating 5 years to full-time research, interviewing sports psychologists, Olympic coaches, and world-class athletes. He wanted to know, how do the best in the world perform with peace and confidence under incredible pressure? This quest led to the birth of Inner Excellence. His work has since impacted PGA Tour golfers, corporate executives, and countless individuals seeking to unlock their potential. So, when Jim Murphy talks about training your mind, he's speaking from a place of deep personal experience and rigorous research. Inner Excellence itself is more than just a book. It's a system, a new way of seeing the world that has transformed lives. It argues that the pursuit of extraordinary performance and the best possible life are not two separate paths, but one and the same. It's about shifting your focus from external validation to internal strength, leading with your heart first, so your performance naturally follows. This audiobook summary will distill the core principles of this transformative work, offering you a compass to navigate your inner world and a toolkit to build a life of profound joy, resilience, and achievement. The allure of more, Maslow and the Maserati. We live in a world that constantly whispers, you need more. More money, more status, more possessions, more approval. Jim Murphy calls this the Affluenza Virus, a seductive illness that makes us idolize what he terms palms, possessions, achievements, looks, money, and status. Sound familiar? We chase these things believing they'll bring happiness, like a shiny Maserati promising a thrilling ride to fulfillment. But here's the crucial point. These are often just symbols, not the substance of what we truly crave. Think about Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. While basic needs and even esteem are important, the pinnacle is self-actualization, becoming everything you are capable of becoming. Murphy reframes this as selfless actualization, achieving your highest calling by serving others and living with fullness of life driven by internal growth rather than external rewards. The book tells us that the people who truly change the world and live fulfilling lives, people like Abraham Lincoln or Albert Einstein, whom Maslow studied, weren't primarily chasing the Maserati. They were driven by a purpose beyond themselves, a dedication to a cause greater than their own ego. As Viktor Frankl, Holocaust survivor and author, profoundly stated, success, like happiness, cannot be pursued. It must ensue, as the unintended side effect of one's dedication to a cause greater than oneself. So, the first mind-altering idea is this. What if your deepest desire isn't the luxury car, but the feeling you think the car will give you? The feeling of being alive, of purpose, of deep connection. This book argues that by chasing the symbols, we often miss the real treasure. It's like climbing a ladder of success only to realize it's leaning against the wrong building. The inner battlefield, where the wild things are. Now, if reaching this best possible life was easy, wouldn't we all be living it? The truth is, we have an inner battlefield where our greatest opponents reside. And the commander of these opposing forces? It often stems from self-centeredness. Wait, you might think, I'm not self-centered. But as the book points out, and as David Foster Wallace articulated, Our default setting is to see the universe revolving around us. Everything we experience is through the lens of I. This isn't a moral failing, it's a natural human tendency. But this self-focus, if unchecked, becomes the fertile ground for fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not being enough. These are the wild things that roam our inner landscape. This self-centeredness leads to self-consciousness, that constant worry about what others think. And when we're self-conscious, our ego gets amplified. The ego, as Murphy defines it, is that part of us always comparing, always needing validation from the outside world, always feeling threatened. It's the part that gets no pleasure from having something, only from having more of it than the next person, as C.S. Lewis put it. Think about it. When you feel that pang of anxiety before a presentation, is it just about conveying information? Or is it also about how you'll be perceived, whether you'll stumble, whether you'll measure up? That's the ego in action, creating a path that leads from self-centeredness to self-consciousness, then to an amplified ego, and ultimately to doubt, anxiety, and fear. This is a crucial map to understand, because if you can see the path, you can choose a different one. Are you ready to learn how to navigate away from this path? The three great adversaries: critic, monkey mind, and trickster. So, we've established that our own self-centered tendencies can breed fear. But how does this manifest? Inner excellence introduces us to three powerful inner adversaries that constantly challenge our peace and performance: the critic, the monkey mind, and the trickster. First, meet the critic. This is that judgmental voice in your head, the one that delivers a negative verdict on almost everything: your circumstances, other people, and especially yourself. It's obsessed with outcomes and constantly compares your progress or lack thereof to others. What if I fail this exam? What if I lose this client? I'm not as good as them. The critic fuels itself by attaching to your circumstances, creating a roller coaster of emotions based on perceived successes or failures. And here's a zinger: judgment and curiosity cannot coexist. When the critic is loud, your ability to see creative solutions shrinks. Next up is the monkey mind. Picture a restless monkey jumping from branch to branch, chattering incessantly. That's your mind when it's cluttered with a torrent of thoughts, often negative, unproductive, and repetitive. This leads to overanalysis, anxiety, and a crowding out of the mental space needed to dream and imagine possibilities. As sports psychologist Dr. Cal Botterill notes, overanalysis is one of the biggest obstacles to peak performance. We get stuck in our heads, missing the intuitive wisdom that comes from a more integrated, whole-being awareness. And finally, there's the trickster. This is the deceptive voice that whispers lies, trying to convince you of your limitations and unworthiness. You're a fraud. You'll never achieve that. You're not good enough. The trickster is cunning because its arguments often sound logical, supported by cherry-picked memories of past failures. Its main game is self-deception, diminishing your identity and convincing you to argue for your own limitations. This can lead to what Dr. David Koppel calls the D-slide, from disappointment to feeling devastated, then defeated, and finally, defective. Sounds exhausting, right? But here's the empowering truth. Recognizing these adversaries is the first step to disarming them. Understanding their tactics allows you to stop being an unconscious victim of their chatter and start consciously choosing a different response. The three pillars of power: love, wisdom, and courage. Now for the exciting part. How do we conquer these inner adversaries and navigate away from the path of fear? Inner excellence proposes a powerful alternative, built on three foundational pillars: love, wisdom, and courage. These aren't just abstract virtues, they are actionable principles that lead to what Murphy calls BFF: belief, focus, and freedom, the vital aspects of high performance and a fulfilling life. Let's start with love. But this isn't just any love. It's about leading with your heart. It means connecting with your true self, the authentic you, beneath the layers of societal expectation and ego. It's about pursuing your passions fearlessly and aiming to live and compete with unconditional love, for your work, for others, even for your opponents, and importantly, for yourself. This kind of love, the book argues, is fearless because it has no concern for self. It's focused outward. When you operate from this space, you cultivate freedom. The freedom to play like a kid again, without the crippling concern for opinions or outcomes. Next comes wisdom. This is about expanding your vision beyond your immediate self, your current circumstances, and your limiting beliefs. It involves cultivating humility, not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less. It's about finding a purpose beyond your personal goals, something that connects you to a greater good. Remember Lewis Gordon Pugh, who swam in the freezing North Pole waters? His mission to raise awareness about global warming was a purpose far bigger than himself, giving him the strength to face unimaginable conditions. This expanded vision, this wisdom, is what builds unshakable belief. Belief in yourself, in your purpose, and in possibilities larger than your ego can conceive. And the third pillar is courage. This isn't the absence of fear, it's the ability to be fully present and act despite fear. It's about engaging wholly in the moment, heart, mind, and body, with a clear mind and an unburdened heart, free from the need for a specific outcome. Think of Georges St. Pierre, the martial arts champion, who admitted fear never disappeared, but he learned to accept it and deal with it. This courage to be present, to face adversity head-on, cultivates laser-sharp focus. Together, love, wisdom, and courage, leading to belief, focus, and freedom, form the bedrock of inner excellence. They help you build what Murphy calls Zoe, a Greek word for absolute fullness of life, a state of vitality, genuineness, and vigor. It's a life where you're not just performing, you're resonating. Are you starting to see how these pillars could reshape your approach to challenges? The Samurai's Secret: Mastering the Ego, Embracing Suffering. How does one cultivate such profound inner strength? Inner excellence looks to an unexpected source of wisdom, the samurai of feudal Japan. These warriors lived by a code, Bushido, which emphasized virtue, character, loyalty, and self-discipline above all else, principles remarkably similar to love, wisdom, and courage. Here's a counterintuitive concept that was central to their mindset. The samurai prepared to die each day. Keep death in mind at all times, wrote Taira Shigasuke, a guide for young samurai, and your character will improve and your virtue will grow. Now, this isn't about being morbid. It's about a profound letting go. By accepting the ultimate impermanence, they freed themselves from lesser fears and attachments. This daily death was a death to the ego, to self-concern, allowing them to live with unparalleled focus and fearlessness. This ties into a crucial theme: embracing discomfort and suffering as pathways to growth. Western culture often teaches us to avoid pain and seek comfort at all costs. But as the book argues, and as figures like Dr. Paul Kalanithi expressed even when facing his own mortality, life wasn't about avoiding suffering. In fact, the capacity to endure, to find meaning in hardship, is what forges character and resilience. Think of Apollo Anton Ono, the Olympic speed skater, who willingly endured grueling training, saying, "I'm willing to do what nobody else is willing to do." He understood that what it did for his mind was invaluable. This acceptance of suffering isn't about masochism. It's about understanding that without pain, there's no growth. It's about seeing adversity not as a roadblock, but as feedback, as an opportunity to become stronger, wiser, and more aligned with your true self. The book suggests a powerful presupposition. Everything is here to teach me and help me. It's all working for my good. What if you adopted that belief when facing your next challenge? This brings us to the idea of exchanging your little lollipop for the whole candy store. Our attachments to fleeting successes, comfort, or avoiding pain are like small lollipops. The whole candy store is a life of deep fulfillment, resilience, and purpose that comes from mastering the ego and embracing growth. This often involves a form of surrender, not giving up, but surrendering your ego, your need for control, to a larger purpose, much like the principles underlying the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, which emphasize surrender to a higher power and overcoming self-centeredness. Changing your state, changing your life. The inner thermostat. We've talked about mindset, but how do we translate that into moment-to-moment experience? The key lies in learning to manage your state, the sum of your feelings and physiology at any given moment. Because, as the book emphasizes, how you feel largely comes from what you think, and your thoughts are the architects of your beliefs. Imagine this sequence. A circumstance occurs. It's filtered through your memories and beliefs. This generates thoughts. Those thoughts create feelings. Feelings drive actions. and actions lead to results. This chain reaction happens constantly. But what if you could intervene in this chain? Our brains are pattern-making machines using assumptions, generalizations, deletions, and distortions to make sense of the world. For instance, if you see a lemon, your brain anticipates the taste. This is useful, but sometimes these patterns can limit us, like generalizing a single failure into, "I always mess this up." The exciting part? You can consciously prime your brain and environment for a better state. Just like holding a warm cup of coffee can make you perceive someone as warmer, you can curate your environment with words, images, and routines that evoke empowering feelings. Remember, what gets your attention gets you. What you focus on directs your thoughts and, consequently, your life. A practical way to manage your state is through conscious breathing and centering techniques. The book offers several, like box breathing, inhale, hold, exhale, hold, all for a count of 4, or the reboot. Stare at a spot, deep breath in, longer breath out, letting go of concerns. You can pair these with mantras like, "I am cultivate," calm and confident, or the samurai mantra, "Expect nothing, prepare for anything." This isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about choosing your response and cultivating a state of focused relaxation. Think about how different your day could be if you consciously managed your state at critical moments. The world is flat, the malleable power of beliefs. What if I told you that much of what you believe to be fixed reality is, in fact, a story you've created? Inner Excellence powerfully argues that your life is a reflection of your beliefs. Beliefs are like the unseen software running your life, the thermostat keeping your experiences within a certain comfort zone. Consider Muggsy Bogues, a 5'3" kid from a dangerous housing project who got shot at age 5, yet went on to play 14 years in the NBA. Ridiculous, right? Not if your belief in your dream is stronger than the reality around you. His story wasn't written by his circumstances, but by the beliefs he nurtured. Beliefs often form in an instant, especially from emotionally charged experiences, and can last a lifetime. A childhood scare with something mistaken for a spider can create a lifelong phobia. The crucial insight here is that what your brain believed in that moment mattered more than objective reality, and just as beliefs are formed, they can be reformed. That's the power of neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to rewire itself. So, how do you sculpt beliefs that align with your dreams? One powerful method is through affirmations, positive statements about your desired reality, stated as if true today. Softballer Calista Balco, after striking out 9 straight times against a star pitcher, visualized getting the game-winning hit in the World Series against that same pitcher, and used affirmations like, "I am a dominating, powerful hitter." And guess what? She did it. You don't have to believe the affirmation fully at first. The repetition and associated feeling are what gradually reshape the belief. Another key is to speak the truth about the past. If you say, "I am struggling with X," your subconscious reinforces that as a current reality. But if you say, "In the past, I struggled with X, but I'm improving," you frame it as a resolved issue, opening possibilities for the future. It's about consciously narrating your story in a way that empowers your future self. What old stories are you ready to rewrite? A clear and present beauty. The art of full engagement. Imagine Guglielmo Marconi discovering radio waves. He didn't invent them. He tapped into what was already there. Similarly, the book suggests beauty, presence, and confidence are always available, waiting for us to tune in. But how often do we miss this because our minds are elsewhere? Being fully present means your mind isn't lost in the past or anxious about the future. It's where anxiety, irritation, and fear dissolve because those emotions are rooted in past regrets or future worries. When fully present, performers describe time slowing down, movements becoming effortless, and a heightened awareness, a state of resonance. Think of the Tibetan monks painstakingly creating an intricate sand mandala, only to ceremoniously destroy it upon completion. For them, it is the process that matters, not the final achievement, the attentiveness to each moment. Inner Excellence outlines 5 powerful ways to cultivate this state of full engagement. Get out of your head and into your heart and soul. Our minds are often cluttered with the monkey mind's chatter, leading to anxiety. Simplifying your life to one all-embracing devotion, a core purpose like raising the level of excellence in my life to raise it in others, can quiet this noise and bring profound presence. Michael Phelps found that simplifying his life was key to liking the person he saw in the mirror. Focus on your routines and only what you can control. Routines provide a foundation, a predictable structure that frees your mind from decision fatigue and outcome obsession. Baseball legend Ken Griffey Jr. lived by his routines. But the trick is to be meticulous about routines, yet unattached to them if they get disrupted. This includes letting go of the need for perfection, which is often a manifestation of fear of failure. Be grateful. Gratitude and anxiety cannot coexist. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant, from problems to beauty. It expands your vision. Practice finding gratitude in small, specific moments. This connects to humility. As Navy SEALs and coach Jim Tressel's players understand, humility allows you to see clearly and learn, whereas pride blinds you. Focus on a mantra. A mantra can anchor your mind in the present, especially under pressure. Golfer Brandt Snedeker used, "I am one of the best players in the world. This is supposed to happen," when winning the FedEx Cup. During a challenging motorcycle ride, Murphy himself used mantras like, "I am the best athlete in the world," and singing to overcome fear and stay present. Even during Wim Hof cold exposure training, mantras like, "My body is a sauna," helped him conquer intense discomfort. Ruthlessly eliminate hurry. Hurry sickness, that constant sense of time urgency, is a disordered heart, not just a disordered schedule. It kills compassion and joy. It stems from a lack of prioritizing your one thing, your core purpose. Eliminating hurry creates space for presence, for deeper connection, for your true self to emerge. Which of these 5 keys resonates most with you right now? Unstoppable. Overcoming mental blocks, fears, and phobias. Ever heard of the yips? That mysterious loss of fine motor skills that can plague even elite athletes, like second baseman Steve Sachs, who suddenly couldn't make a routine throw to first base? Or pitcher Rick Ankiel, whose career was derailed by a sudden inability to throw strikes. These aren't just athletic quirks. They are examples of mental blocks, fears, or even phobias that can affect anyone. And the fascinating thing? Inner excellence argues they can often be overcome easily and quickly, sometimes in a single session. Here's how they form. An emotionally painful or embarrassing event occurs. Your subconscious, in its role as protector, locks in this memory and the associated negative feelings to warn you in similar future situations. It doesn't distinguish between physical and emotional danger. So, when a similar context arises, the subconscious triggers anxiety or disrupts your behavior to protect you. The mental block, or yips, means your subconscious is working perfectly based on the faulty information it has. The solution? Update the subconscious with the truth and give it a new, empowering belief about the situation. This involves a few key steps. Take the emotion out of it. View the painful memory from a dissociated third-person perspective, like watching it as a black-and-white movie from a projection booth, the Hollywood helper technique. This lessens its emotional charge. Find the smallest change. Identify a small alteration in the original situation that could have led to a positive outcome. This gives the subconscious a fix. Insert a positive, high-energy feeling in the change. Recall or create a strong positive feeling, e.g. calm confidence, and mentally replay the problematic scenario, this time in color, from a first-person perspective, incorporating the small change and this new empowering feeling. The Power AP, Anchor Peak Performance exercise, is one way to do this by physically stepping into the memory with new energy. Anchor the new feeling. This creates a new neural pathway, a new association for the subconscious to refer to. It sounds almost too simple to be true, doesn't it? But by understanding how the subconscious works with images and feelings, we can effectively reprogram these ingrained responses. The hero and the goat, performing with poise under pressure. Think of Captain Sully Sullenberger landing that powerless plane on the Hudson River. 3.5 minutes, 155 lives in his hands, yet his focus was absolute. He said, "I had to force myself to use my training and force calm on the situation." That's poise under pressure, and yes, it can be learned. Pressure arises when stakes are high and outcomes are uncertain. To perform with poise, inner excellence emphasizes the unseen elements: your beliefs, your thoughts, and your state. The goal is to cultivate resonance, that effortless excitement, the harmony of being fully engaged, where your true self shines. 4 keys to achieving this resonance under pressure are: share your heart, not your ego. Perform for the love of the activity, to share something beautiful or to connect, rather than for trophies or approval. Like Dawn Staley, who played for the incredible experience, for whom winning was secondary to the passion of playing. Pursue mastery, not the score. Focus on the process of learning, growing, and becoming the best you are capable of, rather than obsessing over the outcome. John Wooden defined success as the peace of mind from knowing you made the effort to become your best. Visionary companies, Jim Collins found, focus on beating themselves, not just the competition. Love your opponent. This is a game changer. Your opponent isn't the enemy. They are your partner in the dance, the catalyst for your growth. Loving your opponent, honoring them by bringing your best, creates a powerful, positive energy that drives out fear and elevates focus. Visualize presence but not perfection. Visualization is key, but it's not about picturing a flawless performance. It's about feeling the pressure, the nerves, the potential chaos, and then seeing yourself navigate it with poise, using your inner excellence tools. Prepare for adversity by visualizing yourself overcoming it. Lewis Pugh visualized his North Pole swim hundreds of times, feeling the ice, tasting the salt water, hearing the sounds. When you combine these keys, pressure transforms from a threat into an energizing force, an invitation to experience life at its most vivid. The hallmarks of extraordinary leaders. Finally, inner excellence isn't just for individual peak performance. Its principles are foundational to extraordinary leadership. Leaders like coaches Jim Tressel, Jim Steen, and Phil Jackson achieved incredible success by understanding that leadership is about developing people first. They embody 3 hallmarks. They redefine success. Instead of focusing solely on wins or profits, they emphasize inner satisfaction, doing your best for the group, and personal growth. For them, winning is a byproduct of developing character and living with purpose. They connect individuals with a vision beyond themselves. Whether it's Lewis Pugh's environmental mission or a Navy SEAL's commitment to his team during Hell Week, a purpose larger than oneself fuels extraordinary resilience and dedication. Great leaders create this shared vision. They seek self-mastery and help others do the same. They lead by example, constantly learning, growing, and stripping away the ego. They understand that to elevate the group, they must empower individuals to become their true selves. These leaders create cultures of joy, compassion, mindfulness, and healthy competition, understanding that the journey of development is as important, if not more so, than the destination. Your new way of life. The adventure awaits. So, what have we unearthed on this deep dive into inner excellence? We've seen how our culture can lead us down a path of chasing external validation, often leaving us feeling empty despite our achievements. We've learned that our biggest obstacles often lie within, in our self-centered tendencies, our fears, and the inner chatter of the critic, monkey mind, and trickster. But more importantly, we've discovered a powerful alternative, a path paved with love, wisdom, and courage. This is the path to developing belief in what's possible, unwavering. Focus in the present moment and the freedom to be your authentic self. It's about transforming your heart to value experience over outcomes, growth over mere victory, and service over self-interest. We've explored how to recognize and disarm your inner adversaries, master your state by managing your thoughts, beliefs, and environment, reshape limiting beliefs, and overcome mental blocks that may have held you captive for years, cultivate deep presence through gratitude, routines, and ruthlessly eliminating hurry. Perform with poise under pressure by sharing your heart, pursuing mastery, loving your opponent, and visualizing presence. And understand that true leadership is about empowering others on this same journey. This isn't just a collection of techniques, it's an invitation to a new way of life. A life where you're not just chasing success, but experiencing Zoe, absolute fullness, vitality, and genuineness. A life where ordinary moments become extraordinary, and challenges become opportunities for profound growth and connection. So, don't let this just be an interesting listen, let it be a catalyst. Continue your journey of growth. The door to your most extraordinary life is open.